So we're here on location with Phil Schlein, and he's opened up his beautiful vineyard to us, and we're going to learn about him today. So how did you end up getting into the wine business?
Well, I bought the property in 1976, and a good friend of mine was Robert Mondavi, who I knew before and whose winery is right next door.
That's always convenient to be right next door to Robert Mondavi.
Well, he was a good friend, and he nagged me every time he saw me, year after year, that you're right above the #1 vineyard in all of America, my Tokelin Vineyard.
Right.
It's right down there.
The Opus.
And he said, why don't you plant vines? And if you don't want to make the wine, sell me the grapes and I'll make a lot more money than you will.
There you go.
And he said that like 8 or 10 times a year.
Right.
Finally, in 1990, we listened to him and did it.
Well,
he was a good friend and a wonderful man.
So what are the bottles that you have now?
We make Emilio's Terrace, which is pretty much almost 100% Cabernet. Sometimes we mix a little Merlot, depending upon the year. We then make a wine called Sophie's Rose. In a certain rows of the vineyard, which I can show you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sophie was my mother. Rose was my grandmother.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the back label talks about mothers and how they encourage their children to strive for excellence.
Oh, that's great.
And then ask you to toast your mother and mine.
I love that.
So
that's a great gift for Mother's Day.
So that's, and then the last one is sort of what we have left, which is primarily Cabernet and a little Merlot or Cabernet Franc, and that's called MoonSchlein. A good friend of mine of 35 years who was helping me with sell the wine and marketing the wine, died at the end of January from lung cancer. It was a real loss to a lot of people. He was a wonderful man. And in honor of him and for his wife, I planted a 100-year-old Zinfandel plant up here on the vineyard so that his wife, who works at Opus, can see the vine. And we have Buddhist flags so she can know exactly where it is. And that's where we're heading right now.
That is such a great story.
To see that. And it's very healthy, as you can see.
So what are you going to do with the grapes?
We will probably pick them and put them in a barrel and process them and give her the wine when it's all done.
Wow. This is pretty fantastic what you've been able to create. How do you go from being, studying civil engineering, going to work at Macy's, then to go to this?
I don't know why, but it's only recently that I sort of reflected on my life. I've been going to a little Buddhist retreat, and I met the Dalai Lama. So I began to think about, why are you here?
Right.
Why do you have this sort of different background than most venture capitalists, which is what I do for a living.
Right.
So I help young people get started in their businesses because I have a consumer background, between the retail, consumer products, and marketing that they need.
Right.
And so I think that's maybe why I'm here.
So what do you think Mother Nature has to teach us humans that keep messing with it?
Well, generally if we just encourage people, like you encourage Mother Nature, all kinds of wonderful things happen.
Right.
Well, I sit on the board of a charity called Larkin Street. And basically they take homeless children off the streets, 12 to 24, house them, feed them, clothe them, get them on their way either vocationally or into colleges. And the story after story, giving people a chance, giving them a hope, instilling in them the right to try.
Right. I think for a lot of people, they don't understand money. And I think you're somebody who understands money and how to use money.
A lot depends on the vision and the soul of the individuals in terms of how they want to use money. It can be hope for entrepreneurs in a business. It can be hope for a business. It can be hope for your children. It can be hope for people who are homeless and struggling. And it really depends on the individual and how they feel and then the pursuit of that. Many times, obviously, to make money, it has to be something that people really want and need.
Phil, thank you so much for your time and opening up your beautiful home for us and sharing your history and your wisdom.
Well, I don't know about the wisdom, but thank you for even thinking of me. It's very nice of all of you.
Well, thank you.